And now we're sitting here, Sam, it's about 214. Yeah, let's call it 214. The day of the game, 214 in the hook. So that's a big move, man. It goes down 5 points in the Western Conference, the total, and the total, skyrockets up to 227. It went up about 6 points over in the East.
Here's what I feel like is going to happen tonight on the side. I don't think it's too far-fetched to say that Minnesota was the public side in game one. A lot of people, a lot of content. That's a lot of points. That's disrespect. The Thunder just played Sunday. That's what we heard a lot of. And it's okay. It's fine. I mean, it's one game. I feel like the people that aligned themselves, a lot of the people rather, not everybody, because you can't blanket this, but a lot of the people that bet Minnesota in game one and lost are going to bet Oklahoma City tonight. This is what happens. This is why a lot of people lose, because they follow what they've last seen. And as somebody who had Oklahoma City, I felt lucky to get away with a win because it was close for 30 minutes. And then the Thunder just put it away. I imagine Chris Finch makes some adjustments. That's the one thing that Minnesota's always been pretty good at this year. Recovering from losses, bouncing back, having that good performance the next game. I'm inclined to lean to the dog and take the 7.5. It's the zigzag, but this is when you zag after game one. You take the result, everybody's going to flip, and then you flip on their flip. That's what I'm thinking tonight.
Is your first thought zigzagging both? Are you thinking Knicks minus 5.5 after, we got some support on the Pacers immediately, as you mentioned, 6 down to 5.5, and then the same thing in the West that we zigzag just about the exact same number on the side, and now you take the 7.5 with Minnesota?
I am thinking that, but I like it more when you get points, man. That's the truth. You give me 7.5, I have a nicer margin. I can win the game outright, lose by 1 through 7. With the Knicks, you got to win by 6 or more. What if the Knicks win by 2 or 3? That's why I cool to the idea of laying points in the playoffs. I don't do it a lot, and when I do, it definitely comes from a place of comfort. If I'm laying 7, 8, 9 points, it's something that really, really comes across my desk in a nice way. So, initial thought, and again, we'll get to our picks later in the show during Lightning Bets. I'm watching Chris right now, man, go to minus 7.5, minus 105. So they are juicing Minnesota. You want to take 7.5 there, you got to lay $1.15. The sharp books are cheap on the Thunder, which tells you there's support for the dog.
Yeah, the New York one, I feel these are intertwined because, we're talking about that zigzag theory. The New York one is a little bit different. I think you're spot on there because there's context. There's history with the rivalry and just the way it went down, how improbable this was. 0.3% win chance for the Pacers, and then they end up winning the game. And just the way it all happened, and what they're hearing, the noise going on over the next couple of days. So how do you bounce back at home? Like, those fans are going to come out booing them, right? So, and you're laying 5.5, 6, that's a little bit different. So I think that is certainly a fair point. Look, game one, it wasn't a surprise. Minnesota turnovers. That was a big part of it. They've been doing that throughout the season, throughout these playoffs. And then the Thunder capitalized. For Minnesota to cover, they need to calm down on that. You can't have a repeat of 19 turnovers there. You also need somebody else to do something. If we're having this conversation about the T-Wolves covering, Randall was great in the first half, and then we didn't see the Edwards. He went to the locker room. We know, bit hobbled and all that. But we didn't see the Edwards that we're used to seeing in the playoffs. You need to see vintage Edwards. You need more of that from Randall, and you need somebody else to do something. DiVincenzo, he took 14 shots, only scored 9 points. Naz Reid missed 10 of 11 shots. He was 0 for 7 on threes. I don't know who it is, and a lot of times in these scenarios, Sam, we're talking about these role players stepping up at home, but The T-Wolves need one of these role players to provide some spark on offense because Randall and Edwards can't do it alone.
I need Edwards to be more aggressive, though. 13 shots is not enough, not even close. He needs to be in that 20 to 25 range. Be the best guy. Be the alpha. Take control. He was very passive. And you give a lot of credit to the Thunder defense, of course. I saw Bob Voulgaris tweet the other night that this is one of the best defenses he's ever seen. That's also not a guy that does a lot of hyperbole. So when he says that, you pay attention. He was very metrically driven when he was in that Dallas front office, and that team got a lot better because of guys like Bob Voulgaris. Anthony Edwards cannot take 13 shots. That has to change. And I think you nailed it. Get Vincenzo out of my face. When the shots aren't falling, put him on the bench. He's taken 12 threes, only making 3. Sit down. Sit your ass on the bench. If the shots are going in, fine. If they're not, dude, you're not Steph Curry.